Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the March 1st Business Wednesday. Welcome to Networking and Discussions with Lenders. I'm Melissa from the Business Insight Center at the Central Library of Rochester, Monroe County. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Please remember to mute your microphones and any questions you have, please put them in the chat. This presentation is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. If you've registered for the event, you'll also receive an email with the presentation slides. And just a reminder, all services of the Business Insight Center and Carlson Center for Intellectual Property are free and available for appointment only. So if you ever need market research, local demographics, consumer spending, just feel free to make an appointment here at the Central Library. Now I'd like to introduce you to Christine from the Small Business Development Center.
Thank you, Melissa. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Once again, my name is Christine Rogers. I'm a certified business advisor with the SUNY Brockport Small Business Development Center. We're also known as SBDC. Our center also provides free and confidential business counseling to startups, entrepreneurs, and small business owners at any stage of the game. Our free services are made possible by funding from the SBA, the state of New York, and our host campus, SUNY Brockport. Our advisor sessions are being able to be made in person, virtually, or by phone. I'll put the link in the chat so you have it if you'd like to schedule an appointment. We offer a lot of fast track to business classes, and you can follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and that way you won't miss any of our events. And that brings me to the event that we're holding soon is a SUNY Brockport SBDC and Venture Jobs. We're partnering to bring the ultimate financial matchmaking event on Thursday, March 20th from 4 to 7:30 p.m. right here at the SUNY Brockport downtown location at 161 Chestnut Street. And Chloe is here today to take us through the journey of small business financing options and how to prepare yourself for the lending conversations that you're going to have not only at our event if you attend, but along your journey as a business owner. Chloe joined Venture Jobs Foundation as the Director of Operations and Process Design after a decade of industrial and system engineering, process improvement, and operations experience. Her goal is to amplify Venture Jobs Foundation's impact on the local community by enhancing internal capabilities while leveraging others in Rochester's economic development ecosystem. She has quite a large job. So I'm going to turn this over to Chloe, and thanks, Chloe.
Thanks so much, Christine and Melissa. I'm really happy to be here. I am here with Ken Marino, who is the president of Venture Jobs Foundation. So we are here and I'm really excited to share with you some ways to prepare for this upcoming event at the end of March with SBDC. So we are really excited to get this conversation started today. So quick little background, if you're not familiar with Venture Jobs Foundation. Um, our mission really is to revitalize underserved neighborhoods and improve quality of life. So we support and invest in entrepreneurs and growing businesses to foster job creation because we recognize that jobs are the key to prosperity for all. So when business starters and owners transform their ideas into reality, we really want to help them spread their success throughout the entire community. So the basis of this conversation today is really going to be not only about how organizations like Venture Jobs are able to support small businesses in the Rochester area, but also how you can leverage those services and access the right support for your unique needs. So today we are going to go over various small business financing options, right? So there's not just Venture Jobs. We do provide loans and technical assistance, but there are many different options for small business financing. And we then want to help you understand more about lending specifically. So we'll get into that in a bit more details. And then beyond the loan, so as it relates to lending, there are different organizations that offer different types of support services alongside the loan service products that they provide. So it's just to help you get to understand what else is out there beyond the loan. And then last but certainly not least, how to really prepare for upcoming lending conversations, especially in anticipation for the event, the financial matchmaking event at the end of the month. How do you really prepare for those conversations so that you are putting your best foot forward, and also so that you're getting the appropriate information that you need from the lenders, right? It's kind of like a job interview. It's not just a one way, it's not them just interviewing you, right? You're also interviewing them if it's the right match for you and your needs. So that's what we are here to talk about today. So hopping right on into things. Oh, and I didn't mention this, but throughout this entire presentation, if you do have a question, do you feel free to hop in. You can pop it in the chat. If I miss it, forgive me, but maybe someone can also you can come off mute and ask a question, or you can use the raise hands features in Zoom as well. So I can help you get your questions answered, and we'll also have time at the end for that. All right, so in the world of small business, right, there are many different financing options, and there's actually even options on here that are not even included on this list. The thing about this list, right, we've got grants, so local, state, and federal. We've got oh, I'm just sorry, my slides just moved on me. We've got grant, local, state, and federal, and equity funding, traditional banks and credit unions, and alternative lenders. So I'm going to go through quickly on each of these. Thing about grants, one of the most notable ones especially for small businesses, right, as you're getting off the ground, there's Kiva is a really great organization which offers hybrid borrowing options, which they are also, it's kind of a blended form, because it is lending, and Ken might be able to speak a little bit on Kiva here. Do you want to come off mute? I'm totally first chance of phoning you in here. Oh,
Sure.
there we
Yeah,
are.
Kiva is a form of, if you can raise money from friends and family up to about $5,000, then those funds will be matched, and you'll have $10,000, and you can use that for your small business. And the nice thing is that second 5,000 is basically given to you. So it's actually, not only are you not paying interest, but you're also getting assistance on that grant. So it's offered by the city. It's called Kiva, Kiva, and it's a great way to get started, even if you might use some of the other loan products that Chloe's going to mention.
Thanks so much, Ken. So that's exactly a thing to consider as we are thinking about financing, is how do we blend things together? How do we diversify the way that we can pull together our resources? So there's also options like equity funding. Equity funding is typically for later stage entrepreneurs or larger size or hyper growth oriented businesses. And Launch New York is a really great organization. They're based out in Buffalo, but they do service Rochester as well. And they do have programs that are possible to, they actually do financing in the form of convertible notes. So basically, they will ultimately, at some point in time, they have the ability to claim those notes once the business takes off. So equity funding, again, for small businesses is typically not, smaller businesses is not a viable option. And then there's also traditional banks and credit unions. So traditional banks and credit unions locally, we've got Canandaigua National Bank, Key Bank, Community Bank. And the thing with traditional banks and credit unions, and oftentimes alternative lenders are trying to help you get to a point where you are building the credibility in your business where you would be eligible for a traditional loan or financing, or to work with a traditional bank or credit union. The challenge often with those are there are there can be more stringent lending criteria dealing with owner equity, debt, credit scores, and your different capacity to repay. So depending on the amount of collateral that you might need to put up against with the loan, sometimes if you don't have the appropriate collateral assets or income levels, they might not you might not be meeting their lending criteria. And so that's where it's really fun, where alternative lenders come in. Before I hop into alternative lenders, though, I do want to just call out that there are also some options, like in terms of financing, where really wanting to, before we turn to financing, right, really focusing on how do we optimize our current business as the business is functioning, right? So can we leverage our current customer base? Can we expand our current customer base and our current service offerings to really expand within there? And there's also oftentimes ways to leverage, and I'll talk about this briefly in the next stage, but working with your current suppliers and vendors to possibly work with them in terms of getting some breaks or upfront financing related to that. But I'll talk about that in a moment. But just wanted to throw that in there, that there are grants, equity, traditional banks, and alternative lenders, but it's possible to think creatively also about ways that you can finance and get the support from your current customer base and friends and family, similar to what Ken just mentioned with Kiva. So alternative lenders, there's entrepreneurial support organizations, often called ESOs. There's Small Business Administration, and there are, I thought I thought I adjusted this slide. And then Small Business Administration and Community Development Financial Institutions, which are all different classifications of different alternative lending sources. So in terms of alternative entrepreneurial support organizations who also might be getting support from SBA or CDFI, there's organizations locally like Venture Jobs Foundation, which is us, SBDC. Rocky DC is another organization that is local, and SBA, Pathstone, Pursuit. There's many different lenders, many of which will be represented and available for you to get to know and understand what makes them unique and what makes them a possible lender that you might want to work with. And many of those organizations will be there on our event at the end of the month. All right, so now moving into understanding lending. So yes, there's alternative lending sources, right? Or financing sources, but here we're going to talk about lending, right? And there's different types of small business loans that are out there. So in terms of there's a couple different things here. So line of credit. So this is allowing your business to draw funds up to a credit limit, making them useful managing cash flow and unexpected expenses. The thing that you might most be able to relate to this is like a credit card, right? So if you have a credit card, you have a credit limit on your credit card and you can draw funds up to your credit limit. But there's different ways that you can also get lines of credit as well through different organizations and institutions. There's also term loans. So term loans are where you are provided a lump sum of cash up front, or sometimes term loans have multiple payouts throughout your loan term. So it might be multiple lumps of cash, not just up front, but up front and throughout, which is then repaid with interest over a predetermined period of time. And then another item on here, and this is not a fully exhaustive list. This is just to demonstrate some options here, but there's also some things that are merchant cash advances. So this is opportunity where a lump sum advance is repaid through a percentage of daily credit card sales. So I know I've heard different businesses where it actually ends up at their POS. Their POS offers a merchant cash advance, right? And so then ultimately they'll give you that loan, and then every time someone pays at your store, a percentage of that goes back to the merchant. or sorry, but back to the lender. All of these have their pros and cons, right? So it's really important when you are looking at these different types of loans and opportunities to really consider what your unique needs are and what the long-term implications of getting into an agreement of this nature would have on your organization. Another, when I was speaking about lenders, or sorry, in suppliers and vendors, right? So sometimes you can create different types of agreements with your vendors related into if you have an agreement with your customers and you have a PO for a year-long agreement, you might be able to get an advance from your suppliers or your vendors, depending on what their flexibility are in terms of payment terms. So you might be able to get a lot of supply up front and then be able to pay that off as your customers pay you over the year. So think about how you can have some flexible ways. And when you are speaking to different lenders, they might be able to support you in considering, based off of your unique business's needs, how you can blend different types of financing mechanisms to really work for your business. Okay, so a consideration for how to really consider who's the right lender for you. There's a whole consideration about who you are and who your business is and who the lender is and what they offer, right? So thinking about yourself and your business, right, is what's the structure of your business? What's the stage of your business, right? So if you're a well, we're talking about businesses, but if you're a social enterprise or if you're a partnership or you're an LLC, some of those might have some implications in terms of what type of lenders can work with you. If you've got a nonprofit piece of your organization, do you have that split out from your for-profit side, right? So that's in terms of your financial situation, right? So how are your books being managed? If you're a startup, do you have recurring revenue already, right? Do you not have recurring revenue? Do you just have an idea? All of those are going to be majorly considered by lenders in whether or not they are positioned to support you most effectively. A lot of the entrepreneurial support organizations, they don't want to be saying no, right? But often it's that you might not be falling into the criteria or the people that they serve best. And so it's just about really getting an awareness of who you are. So you've got also your business needs, right? So where are you currently at in your business and what are your goals, right? So if you're a small business that's looking to grow very quickly in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be different than someone who's looking to just have a slow and steady growth and you're not really too concerned about expanding and you just need some working capital for a small expansion, right? It's going to look a lot different. Also, again, like your financial situation, are your books in order, right? Which entrepreneurial support organization is going to be able to help you might be dependent on how far along you are in your bookkeeping and your accounting uh, situation in your organization, right? Do you have other debts? Do you have, did you have any history of bankruptcy or any liens against any of the your assets in your organization? And those are all very important to consider. I'm not saying that that's going to it might disqualify you. Some of those situations might disqualify you from traditional sources like banks and credit unions, but there's often entrepreneurial support organizations that can work with you, even if you have some of those things in your personal or your business's history. And then also considering what your use of funds are. For example, Venture Jobs Foundations typically does not work with real estate for real estate needs, right? And so if you're looking for that, we are not probably going to be the right institution for you to work with. Whereas there are organizations like Rocky DC who do specialize in real estate, right? And so that's really their bread and butter. And that's where you need to understand really what you need. If you need to do something with real estate and finance a machine for the new location that you're investing, that's where you can blend and work together with entrepreneurial support organizations in the ecosystem. So that's an opportunity where Venture Jobs Foundation and Rocky DC could work together on this single project for your business, and we would all collaborate to really get you the best split and portfolio that you need. Then we've got the lender side of things, right? So that's your self-awareness, right? And then this is like what you're looking external, right, for. So we're going to look at the lender's eligibility criteria, right? Sometimes this is posted very readily available on the organization's website. Sometimes you need to have the conversation. Again, a lot of the ESOs do like to support the unique needs of individual businesses. And that's where it's a really great opportunity for you to speak at the end of the month with the lenders related to what their specific eligibility criteria are. And if maybe you fall slightly outside of that, is that something you could work with? Other considerations are interest rates and fees, right? So what's their interest rates, right? Is it high? Is it, do they have a lot of late fees, or do they have fees for your application or whatnot? Like, those are all things to just take into consideration and understand the long-term impact. Same thing with repayment terms. So sometimes organizations are able to give you interest only, no payment, like a period of interest is accumulating from the time that they were given the money, but you don't actually have to start making payments until after 1 year or 3 months, right? Again, this is going to be based off of your business's needs and the uses of funds, right? Perhaps something that you're something like what you're trying to fund is there's going to be a delay in terms of when your revenue starts coming in. So some organizations will allow you to have flexible repayment terms at the start there. And then last but certainly not least, additional services from the lender, right? So what else do they offer? So a lot of entrepreneurial support organizations don't just give you a loan product. They also provide technical assistance and other aspects of support. And I'll cover that in just a moment. I've been talking at everyone for quite a long time. Does anyone have any questions for me at this moment in time before I move forward? Is there any questions? You can raise hand or come off mute. All right, sounds like there's no questions, so I will keep moving on. Of course, you can always pop a question in the chat if you've got that. And apologies if I've missed any questions in the chat ahead of time. Okay, so what I just was describing beyond the loan, what else does the lender offer, right? So technical assistance programs are huge, right? So a lot of organizations provide business planning support, financial literacy support, mentorship, and guidance. This is really helping you to not just receive the loan, but ensure that you're having success beyond. So what happens if you get the loan and then something changes in your business 2 months in, and I need to talk to someone and I need to figure this out. A lot of organizations will be able to help you with that technical assistance. And then also the community support and networking, right? So peer entrepreneur groups, there may be workshops or events like this where you can come together and learn with other entrepreneurs, other small business owners, where you can really leverage your peers in your network to really grow in your business and have that camaraderie there. Additionally, there's conferences, workshops, and trainings that are also available. And those are really just another way that lenders can really add value to your small business. I'll take a moment. I was going to hop into some of the venture jobs, how to demonstrate what I just described with what Venture Jobs does, but I'll just take a moment quickly. Christine, if you're available, I'd love if you wanted to hop in and share a little bit about SBDC and how you plug into some of these additional offerings and how you are supporting small businesses in the entrepreneurial support organization ecosystem.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chloe. So with the SUNY Brockport SBDC, it's interesting because we have a lot of partners across the county and surrounding counties that do a lot of the same things, right? We do the business planning, we assist with that. We happen to do projections at our center. We have a lot of relationships with many lenders, and we work hand in hand with the business owner, the lender that they choose, and we can help you align you with a couple you can interview as well, and you make the choice. And we work as a team to get your projections ready for that lending piece. So what's really nice about that is, you have the relationship that we have with our banker, but then we have the relationship with you, and it kind of ties into a nice, beautiful pairing of three people that can go to underwriting and go to bat for you for your loan. We do, my gosh, off the topic of finance, we do state certifications, federal certifications, marketing. We have so many partnerships like the one we have with Venture Jobs that if you needed something that was outside of our scope, we obviously have the partnerships as well. But with and there's so much more. You can go to our website and check it out. But to the financial piece, I think I want to speak. The biggest thing is, Chloe, is our projections.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
something that is and I appreciate that Christine brought that up, because that is something that when a small business or an entrepreneur approaches us at Venture Jobs and they're like, oh, I need a loan. The first thing we ask is show us the numbers, right? Not the first thing. We love to understand the business, the people, the person, what's going on there. And then when we get closer to, okay, how can we help you? It's show us the numbers, right? What happened last year? What's happening next year? What's happening the year after that? Is it like, we don't want organizations or people to get in the position where they have taken out a loan and they can't repay, right? Like it's risky for us, it's risky for them. That's the worst case scenario. And having robust projections and really feeling confident behind, I'm confident this is going to happen the next 3 years, I'll get into it in a moment. Venture Jobs has typically a 5-year loan term. I was like, what's the word? So words escape me. And we want to be able to see that you have the revenue over the next 5 years that will be able to support those monthly payments that you're going to be making to us, right? We want our small businesses to succeed, right? And so using the support of an organization like SBDC is really key. We send a lot of our leads over to SBDC to say, hey, listen, they need some support, and can you help them create out a financial projection, right? So that's really how we want the entrepreneurial support organizations can help you to point to one organization or another, but it's also important for you to understand that might happen in your journey, that we all don't do all of the pieces, right? So we try to help you navigate that path in a way that's seamless for you as a small business or an entrepreneur. All right, so just to thank you, Christine. So tying in what I just shared in terms of right, how to choose the right lender for you related to our eligibility and additional lending offerings, Venture Jobs just wanted to show what we are up to, right? So Venture Job has community services like our capital access for entrepreneurs. So our CAFE program, which is a level 2 program for financial management and preparing loan applications for established businesses. So similar to what Christine was describing with their financial projections, this is, taking things beyond the projections and really helping to teach small business owners how to really map those projections into day-to-day execution of your financial projections, and how to keep those maintained and keep your books up to date throughout the year. Lunch Bites is also something that we offer. So it's a topical webinar meetings led by entrepreneurs. So it's entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs, and really getting small business owners together to really speak about what is going on and what's alive for them in business, and basically share lessons learned and support one another. We are also in progress of developing the Venture Jobs Business Network, where it will encourage the sharing amongst local entrepreneurs to connect with one another in the local organizations so that you can thrive. And another piece related to what we do with Venture Jobs is our Rochester Economic Development Summit. You may have heard of it in the past, called Prosperity Conference. It's now been rebranded into the Rochester Economic Development Summit. And this is a summit that really brings together business leaders, finance experts, economists, there we are. I love words, and entrepreneurs and professional networks to collaborate, learn, and really amplify how you are existing as a small business and thriving in the local community. This past year was wonderful. It was a multi-day event, and there were many of the organizations that you'll see at the event at the end of the month were there really talking about how we can do better to support organizations. And then there were small businesses there as well, advocating and talking and contributing to the discussion to really show, what we're here to do. And in terms of the lending services, and you'll hear more about this and you'll have a chance to talk with us at the end of the month, but we provide loans to businesses that are located in low to moderate income neighborhoods, owned by minority or underrepresented community members. Not required, but that's often who we are serving. Creating living wage walkable jobs. So this is really important. Venture Jobs Foundation, right? So we're here to make jobs and help you create jobs, and ideally operating for over a year and earning revenue, right? So we are often working with organizations that are already established and earning revenue and helping you to take yourselves to the next level. There are other organizations who do support small businesses who are pre-revenue, and organizations like SBDC can help you with some of that technical assistance, and other organizations can help you with that upfront startup capital. Venture Jobs loans are offered at below market rates with character-based approval criteria. So as we were describing earlier with traditional banks and credit unions, there's often very stringent approval criteria, and we do our best to evaluate beyond some specific numbers. And we like to really look at your character and your history as an entrepreneur and as a person to really demonstrate that we can work with you as a small business owner and help you grow and thrive. And we've got two products available. We've got our Rochester Fund loans and our community development loans. Rochester Fund are often for earlier stage businesses. They're maxed out at $50,000. And that's typically for equipment and early working capital. In our community development loans, those are under $250,000, and that's for that later stage small business that is really looking to expand and grow beyond where they currently are at. Okay, so last but not least, we've got about preparing for lending conversations, right? So this is all about how do you feel comfortable and confident to enter into those conversations, and what are the lending institutions often going to be asking. So it's better to be prepared ahead of time with this information. So often you're going to need to be able to speak very clearly about your financial history, right? So your business financial statements. So what were your actuals for your last year of in business? What was your P&L? Do you have a balance? Do you have your profit and loss statements? Do you have your balance sheet? What do your numbers look like? Also, your personal and business tax returns. So oftentimes, even though it is a business loan, you will be a guarantor on the loan as your individual. So it's going to be important, especially if there are other pieces related to the business financial history, if you've got a steady work history yourself, perhaps it could help boost that character reference, right? So all of this is just really helping to create awareness and a framing of who you are, what your business is, and what we're dealing with, so we can provide the best support services as needed. So your personal and business tax returns, and then also information on other loans, debts, liens, and bankruptcies, right? So again, how can we work with what you've got? We need to know where you're at, and the more open and honest you are about your history, the better it is to create the appropriate structure for you going forward. So giving that information is very supportive in the early stage conversations, right? You don't necessarily need to lead with some of this information, right? But just to have that information ready and documented, so that when it is asked of you, you are ready to provide it. Business plan and is also very important, right? I think oftentimes that's something that is really top of mind, right? It's not just, oh, I need this money and it's going to XYZ things. It's also a strategy around that. So, okay, I need money to add a oven to my bakery, right? Okay, well, what does that map to? Right. So if I'm going to get an oven for $10,000, what do you expect how does that increase your revenue over the next year? Right. So can you actually map that, that cost, the 10,000 cost, and then whatever that monthly payment would ultimately be, with the boost in your revenue, map backwards to and does it cover that monthly cost, right? So your financial projections, your revenue, your cash flow, do the numbers make sense, right? So this is exactly what Christine was just describing. If you're struggling with that, you're not alone. It's very normal to not have robust financial acumen, right? I was just on a call with Ken earlier, and we were going through numbers, and numbers that can be hard, right? So you need to take your time on this. You need to think critically about this. Sometimes you will need some support. So leverage the free resources that are in the community, and organizations like SBDC, who are very good at helping you to create financial projections. There's also, I'm pretty sure, there's licenses through the library or for Live Plan as well. Is that correct, Melissa?
That is
Yes.
correct. We do have a subscription to Live Plan that we could get remote access to any of your clients. And we have a limited number of seats, but only the company profile takes a seat. So you could add if you have a business partner, if you're husband and wife team, if you want your mentor added, we could also add them.
Amazing. So Live Plan is also a really wonderful, and if you want more information about that, you feel free to reach out to us and or Melissa. But there is also the piece related to Live Plan is helping you basically put in that strategy into a system, which helps you create your business plan, and then you can tweak and adapt it and adjust it as you go. So Live Plan is a really great thing that you might want to explore and play with a little bit, and you could tinker with that ahead of the meeting, or sorry, the not meeting or workshop, the event at the end of the month. And the last couple of things here are your legal business structure and documentation. So again, this isn't really, you need it right at the forefront, but if you don't even know which entity type your business is, it might be good to know before you go to the meeting, right? You don't necessarily need your documentation at the ready when you're there, but there's so many businesses that we've spoken to that don't even know if they have articles of association or if they have registered, right? And if you don't know if you've done it, you probably haven't done it, and you might be just operating as a sole proprietor. But it's important to really understand the structure of your business, because that's going to influence, again, some of the lender criteria of what types of businesses they can work with. And then also your personal business, the credit scores, right? Again, a lot of ESOs, it may not matter what your credit score is. Some might, some might not. But it is important to have that at the ready just in case that it is required. Oftentimes you will, I'm pretty sure you still will need to put it on an application, but it may or may not be actually part of the criteria of selection as you go through. So that's going to depend on the organization. Okay. We've got only a couple more slides and then we do have time for questions. So I think this is the last of the meat of things. So bear with me as we go through the last conversation. So tips for success. Many of these I'm going to just be driving home the points that I've already made throughout this conversation, but leveraging other entrepreneurial support organizations. So this is what we said. SBDC and Venture Jobs are two different entrepreneurial support organizations. We work with one another. You will work with both, right? You can work with both, right? And so use your resources. There's lots of free low-cost resources in Rochester to pull together. I know Melissa probably is aware of plenty of them through the library. There's so many different resources that are available to help you prepare for an application with a lender, prepare for your conversations, and also support you once you've already received a loan. So really don't be afraid of asking for help. And oftentimes, actually, that shows a lender that you're resourceful, right? So recently we had a business inquire with us related to receiving a loan, and they were mentioning all of the different resources they've already used and showed how they use the resource and where they were then. That if they don't have a credit score or they don't have X, Y, or Z, but they've demonstrated that they're leveraging the resources, that's a huge boost to our character score, right? Like of what we see, oh, wow, they're resourceful. They're going to really actually leverage and are a go-getter, are going to really make things work for their business. So leverage the other organizations in the ecosystem. Also building relationships with the lenders, right? So oftentimes we know a small business for years before we actually lend to them, right? We help them in their journey. We are in early conversations with them. We see their growth. Sometimes it doesn't take a year. I'm not trying to scare you off there, but at the same time too, it's really important to have that great relationship with your lender because it could be for your future needs. It could be that you get in a pinch and you need the support from them to possibly see if you can have a period of a changing of your loan terms for a period of time because something personal or business wise happened and you just need some help, right? So build those strong relationships with your lenders and nurture those relationships. And then maintaining good financial health. So really making sure, this is so important, that you're regularly reviewing and managing your business finances. So being prepared for your, the reporting that you're going to need to provide to your lenders. So we require our businesses to report out their financial statements at the end of each year because we want to make sure that things are trending alongside the projections that they had and that we're tweaking and adjusting if not. So it's important to really maintain that good financial health and feel comfortable with your finances. And financial health, just another note on here, there's the Consumer Credit Counseling Services of Rochester that are also available if you're seeking. Oh, did I lose you guys? Okay, there we go. I thought I lost you. If you're seeking some support in terms of your own credit score, you may want to reach out to them if you're wanting to work on improving your credit score as well. And then consider multiple offers. So exactly what Christine was saying before, the SBDC may be able to help support you and looking at various offers from various lenders, but it's really important to do the review of of different organizations as well, so you can see what else is being offered from other institutions. All right. So these are just a few success stories from small businesses that Venture Jobs has supported. It's really fun to see. I think many of these small businesses actually have received multiple loans from Venture Jobs and helping them at various stages of their business to really support their expansion and growth. various backgrounds here where, you know, had been denied from other institutions or credit unions. And we were able to really support them in their growth and not only having an impact on you know, their families and the jobs they were able to create, but also expanding into addition. Some of these like the Grisbys over there are helping very locally, and they are helping people in their community to really clean up their the organization related to buying cars, right, and able to get basically one-stop shop of getting a car for people who weren't able to have access to be able to then drive to their jobs. So expanding for jobs beyond jobs, right? So Grisby's are, by getting people mobile, they're able to really help really further Venture Jobs mission and beyond just the people that they're employing locally at their auto shop as well. So just some fun success stories of these business owners that we love to support. So I think that's all the meats of the conversation. I wanted to leave some time for questions at the end. This is important. Pull out your phone real quick and RSVP to the event. You can scan this QR code here right now. I'll let Christine, maybe if you wanted, I know you touched on it at the beginning, but if you wanted to touch any more on this, we'll also send this flyer out in the email after this talk. But if you wanted to say anything more about the event.
Sure. So I know we talked about Kiva in the beginning. That will be one of our panelists. So it's a great night just for education and for a chance for you to meet our lenders in the area and get those questions answered. And we're also going to have a couple spin-off educational pieces. I think I saw Chloe on here. Chloe Anderson is one of our advisors. She's going to be heading one of the education snippets. So it's, hey, like Chloe said, pull out your phone and snap the picture, and we'd love to see you there. It's a free event, so take advantage.
Amazing. We're really looking forward to it there. And the opportunity also at the beginning of the event, as you register, once you check in, you'll be able to look through the list of the lenders that are there, and there's going to be speed networking, right? So you'll be able to actually pair up with there's like an hour of time, and you'll have like I think it depends on the numbers of turnout, but you'll have about 15 minutes with the lenders to basically say, like, you'll see Venture Jobs on a list, and you can say, oh, I want to talk to Venture Jobs. And so you'll be able to write your name down, and you'll be able to then at 6 o'clock, from 6 to 6:15, you'll come over and you'll speak with Ken or myself or another representative from Venture Jobs to talk about, hey, what's your lending criteria? This is what my business is about. Do you think this could be a match? What more information do we need? How do we take this to the next step, right? Or what do you recommend for us to do next? So that's really a really awesome thing. Beyond the panel discussions, there are opportunities to really get to know lenders and also network with other small businesses who are probably at very similar stages as you are, right? So that camaraderie is not to be taken for not to be minimized, right? That is a huge part of being an entrepreneur and a small business owner, is connecting with those others who are in the community and working with each other to encourage and celebrate your wins. So don't miss it. It'll be a really fun event. And okay, yeah. So just any questions? What questions do we have? We've got Ken, myself, Christine, Melissa here from Venture Jobs, SBDC, and the library, of course. What questions do you have about what we chatted about today, if any? All right. Oh, Ken?
I have a question. Yeah. Melissa, you have the licenses available for LivePlan, and I'm curious to hear how people are using that tool. And And any other comments on how somebody might get started with that?
Yeah. Actually, our primary users for it are all people who are either being referred by SCORE or SBDC. So a lot of our contributors are actually advisors, so they have access to multiple plans at the same time as they work with their clients. But really it's available for anyone who is looking to write a business plan. All you have to do is, I mean, it's as easy as shooting us an email and saying, hey, could you please sign me up for Live Plan? And then we could let you know if we have a slot available or when we can get you on. You have 3 months with it. But we archive the plans if we see you have not accessed it within a month. But we could always put it back up. If you need it longer than 3 months, then you could just shoot us an email, give us a call, ask to extend it. It's normally not a problem. But yeah, it's pretty openly available.
Thank you, Melissa. We appreciate that reflection there. And yeah, it can't be said enough how leveraging this resources that we are available for you can be just the difference between success and massive confusion and uncertainty in your business. So Live Plan is really an incredible resource, as well as organizations like SBDC and Venture Jobs and others in the ecosystem who can help guide you through using those resources as well. So if you would like to connect with us at Venture Jobs, that's our email, our website, and you can find us on social media. We'll also be at the event at the end of the month. So please do reach out if you've got questions or want to chat with us more. But I think that's all we have today. So if there's anything else that Christina or Melissa wants to add in.
No, thank you, Chloe. I think we're good. And like Chloe said, we look forward to seeing you at our event.
Okay. Well, then that is the end of our program. I'd like to thank Chloe and Ken and Christine all coming in and sharing all their services. A recording of this presentation will be posted to YouTube on the Rochester Central website. We'll email the registered participants a copy of the slides, a link to the recording, as well as the PDF to the lending event on March 20th.